Mayor Jerry Chapman, ladies and gentlemen, honored guests, children, I can't tell you what a pleasure it is to be here. I think the first thing I like to do is to say thank you to the Arts Council, to all the dear friends we have in Colquitt. And again, I repeat the great pleasure to be here and represent the Global Arts and Cultural Mural Association. When we started the international project, we wanted to rotate every second year in a different country or definitely in a different place who has used murals as an economic development. And to leave a legacy for those conferences which we hold, we ask those communities to leave something. Most everybody has left a mural, except Scotland. Scotland and Preston Grange, our Vice President, Dr. Gordon Barron of Preston Grange, can you please stand? Our Vice President and leader. They created another wow factor. They created totem poles. We shipped 3 from Canada, from the First Nation forests over to Scotland. And the Baron had the generosity to hire Canadian Indians to come to Scotland and carve those totem poles. And what a legacy that was. And one of the greatest projects ever for the Global Mural Conference. When we started in Colquitt, they asked, what are we going to do for a legacy to top that? And I said, create a wow factor. Ladies and gentlemen, the wow factor. Poles are great, Gordon. Those totem poles are terrific. But you must admit, this totem pole is just a wee bit. I said a wee bit. Ladies and gentlemen, when you have thousands of visitors go by on this painting, give me a minute to catch my thoughts here. I think what every stranger will see, I don't see no farmer. I see the spirit of a farmer. This farmer is bigger than life. This farmer will become an icon. This farmer will become an icon not only for Colquitt or for Georgia, but indeed just likely the world if you do that. That's what I see in this icon. When I look at his face, I see no culture. I see first American Indians, I see Chinese, I see Cambodian farmers, I see German farmers, I see the farmers of all the nations in that face. And congratulations, Valley, for achieving such a magnificent effect. Well, Paris got, so what? Colquitt, Georgia, got the spirit farmer. What a monument to be. And it could be a greater honor to have this designated to the Global Mural Association. Thank you so much for your spirit, for the tenacity to pull it off, for the genius of the artist to complete it. And thank you so much for having all of us, my dear friends. Thank you so much.
things up, I think I'll just get out of the way and let it continue to happen. That's just wonderful. You back again, baby? Come on.
I don't think you know. It is definitely my honor and my pleasure to introduce my mentor and my friend and my soul sister. Joy and I have been working together for a long time, and we're like that little saying, we can never quit being best friends because we know too much about each other. So it is indeed my honor to introduce Joy Jenks, and she is going to recognize our day.
You know, the big dark secret about how do you do fundraising. Well, you know, the only secret is you gotta ask. I was the worst. I'm gonna get rid of this. I had the greatest fear of asking people for money 20 years ago, anybody you ever saw. But honey, I got over it. When you're passionate about something, when you really believe in what you're doing, when it's for something bigger than yourself, then it becomes very easy. And it's been my pleasure. Oh, I want to say one more thing. There's a woman I heard speak one time named Lynn Twist, who was a fundraiser for the Hunger Project for a long time. And her motto is that fundraising is a sacred responsibility. And so I view this as a sacred responsibility. I'm going to read the list of our donors, and if you'll bear with me, the list is pretty long, but yes, thank goodness. We appreciate so much all of you. Most of the people who gave are here today, and we appreciate you so much, and thank you for your contribution to make this possible, and I know you're as pleased as we are at the way it has turned out. The U.S. Department of Rural Development, wait a minute, let me start over. U.S. Department of Agriculture Rural Business Enterprise Grant, the Birdsong Peanut Company, the Georgia Department of Economic Development, Kelly Crop Insurance, CGM Construction, 3M Farms, Double R Flight, Hardee's Honda Enterprises, Miller County Industrial Development Authority, Gerald Jennifer Beth Brooks and Brooklyn Garland, Southwind Ford, Flint River Soil and Water, in memory of Alvin Newton by Al Newton, Jerry C. Grimsley and Sons, the Miller County Liberal, established in 1897, Southwest Georgia Farm Credit, Three Notch Electric Membership Corporation, the Georgia Peanut Commission. The farm families who gave to honor their local heritage, in memory of Luther Griffin, given by Craig and Keith Griffin, in memory of Dave B. Lane, given by Tommy Dollar, Craig and Keith Griffin, Kim Rents, Joe Suley Farms, Merritt Farms, in memory of J.W. Merritt Sr., J.W. Merritt Jr., in honor of Hannah J. and Mark S. Merritt, David and Judy Bean, Shannon Johnson, Stephanie J. Smith, in memory of Harvard and Clara Lee Miller, by Don and Kay Chan, Wiley Tab Newberry, Pine Hill Plantation, Cedar Haywick family, of Lou Edward Miller, in honor of Johnny Miller and family, Herbert Perry Farms, Ray and Ethel Henley, Steve Holt and family, Newberry Angus Farms Incorporated, Mr. and Mrs. Lonnie George, farmed from 1920 to 1972, Bro Sloan Farms, MacArthur Sloan, 1903-1986, Miller County Extension Agent Flint River Soil and Water District Supervisor, Miller County Commissioner, and my dad. Rodney Brown's Half-Fast Farms, in loving memory of Roy and Mary Kelly, in loving memory of Henderson and Minnie Lee Rents by Ronnie Rents. Jerry and Sue Pickle, Creekback Farms, Terry and Martell Pickle, Mallory, Shelton, and Mackenzie. In loving memory of Hilton and Clara Reeds Kimbrell, A.W. and Ruth Sheffield Smith by Billy and Karen Smith Kimbrell. In memory of Sheffield Boo Duncan, T-Bar Branch, the Thompson family farms. In Colquitt, the Warehouse, etc., Taylor Realty, Lane Crop Insurance. Individual donations, Dot Cook Wainwright, Sandy and Vaughn Grisham, Nancy Payne, Ginger Sewell, Teresa Miskell, Jim and Sandra East. And again, thank all of you for your generosity.
Someday we're going to paint a mural on that thing. And then, you know, we would continue talking about it from time to time. But the person that didn't know we were planning to do this happened to be the people that owned the building, which was Birdsong Peanut Company. So I will never forget the day that we got up our nerve to call Gerald, ask for an appointment with him, and went to see Gerald Garland, who is the CEO of Birdsong for the Southeast, and told him our dream and our vision, and that was to paint a mural on the peanut silos. I remember how carefully Gerald listened. I remember how thoughtful and how mindful he was about it. He asked a lot of questions about what's the plan, are you going to paint the entire thing? There were some stipulations at that point that we certainly had to hold up our end of the bargain. But in the end, we were given permission to go forward with this project. And so I just cannot say thank you enough to Gerald today for having the vision to buy into this probably what seemed like a kind of a shaky plan at that point. And not only to buy into the plan, but be so totally supportive of the project. I know all of you have noticed how many improvements they made to get this ready for us. They recovered all the buildings, they put new sheds, they buried the electrical, they put a lot of their own planning and their money into getting this site ready for us so that it could be the very best that it could be, and there would be nothing that would detract from the beauty of the mural. And so I just, again, Gerald, say thank you for being so supportive of this project. Thank you for everything you put into it. And on behalf of the Colquitt Arts Council, on behalf of the Mural Committee, and on behalf of the artist Charlie Johnston, we want to present Birdsong with the working model of the project.
For that, Miss Pat. I got up this morning and I was in Statesboro, Georgia. Pretty day, 55 degrees. I knew I had to come back and make this speech today and had no idea what I was going to say. And when I got here, I didn't have any idea what I was going to say. But because I don't really want this to be about me and about us receiving this for doing this, but when Billy Kimbrell started to pray, the first thing I thought about was the first time I was introduced to peanuts as a kid. When I was 5 or 6 years old, my granddaddy, Brooke Sheffield, took me to a peanut field on Itchway Plantation. We didn't have any air-conditioned tractors. The rattlesnakes were bigger than the tractors. And I remember dumping peanuts into a 14-foot wagon and riding with Granddaddy on a 550 Oliver to Joe Bryan's Peanut Company in Damascus. And that, I had no idea as a kid the impact and the opportunity that I would have as an adult to come back to Colquitt, Georgia, and be able to give service to our farmers in this community. You know, and just the different names and things Miss Joy called out, it's just, there's a lot of people that just really don't know what a privilege it was to do business with Avenue. It'll bring tears to your eyes. I mean, there was times that Jerry Grimsley and I needed money so that we could be able to pay the farmers and the banks and make everything leverage and work out right. And I would call Mr. Alvin, and I'd go up down the square to his office, and he would turn around and he would write a check out of his checkbook. He didn't ask for a note. He didn't ask when it would be paid back. He just said, son, when y'all sell the peanuts, when it gets to the end of the year, you can come pay me back. And we did that. I also can remember as a kid working at the stockyard. Joy was talking about her daddy a while ago. It was never a good thing when a Bramer bull would tear out of the stockyard and get in Mac off of Sloan's purebred Hereford cows. That was never a good thing. And what was really bad is the next week or so I would go up to Hayes Bowen's welding shop, and then I'd have to walk across the street with Hayes, knowing what he was going to say when I got there. And we would have to go all through it again because the bull would breed one of his cows. Those times, George, those were a long time ago, but still they all come back so fresh when you have a day like today and you have an opportunity to have a group like this and to be able to make some comments. And one thing that I learned from Jerry Grimsley, and I think it was the most important thing, he said, Gerald, you need to understand, for us to be successful, we have two customers. We have our farmers and we have our manufacturers. And what I mean by that, and putting that in plain terms, is that Ray Henley is just as important as Richard Smuckers. There's really not any difference. And the older that I get, the more I appreciate our farmers. And if I don't leave you with any other message today, that's what I want to leave, is the appreciation that I have for our farmers. I've been working in the peanut business for 25 years, and that's what we do. 365 days out of the year is peanuts. That's all that we do. We used to be a lot smaller than we are today. But in order to survive, we have to get bigger. Farmers have to get bigger. I was entertaining the Secretary of Agriculture earlier this week on Monday, and he said something to me, and I just never really checked the statistics to understand it that way. But he got up and gave his speech, and there are 2.1 million farmers in the United States. 1 million of those have small farms, tracts of land. He called it hobby farming because they use it to deer hunt and they do small things. It's really for recreation, not for making money and income. So that's half. The other half, about 750,000 of those, work on the farm because they want to, not to make money, because they have regular jobs, and 30% of their W-2 income goes toward keeping that farmer and keep that farm going. The last 300,000 people is what I want to leave you with today, because those 300,000 people produce 85% of the food in this country. 100,000 people feed this country and export products all around the world. And that really, really got to me today. It really did. So thinking about all these people from the past that were before us, and then all the ones here today that continue to farm, because our farmers are not getting bigger. They're getting smaller in number, but larger in the risk that they take to produce our crops. So each time you see a farmer and have an opportunity to say thank you, that's what we should do. Because our livelihood, especially in this community, revolves around them. And they may grow cotton, and they may grow corn, and they may grow other things, but peanuts are the mainstay in this community. The best peanuts that are grown in the world come from here. And we take them most of the time for seed, so that we can look after them, check their germs, and the peanuts that are grown here go back to be multiplied to sell to other farmers for next year so that we can continue to grow this crop. Now, for just a second, where birdsong is concerned and where Miss Pat was talking about our meeting that day, when she left, I called our Virginia office and I talked to George Birdsong, and I said, George, you're just really not going to believe the meeting that I just had. We're going to paint a mural on our silos in Colquitt. He said, you're kidding. I said, well, the ladies that I met with, George Jinks and Pat Bush, it's been my experience that when they decide they want to do something, the best thing to do is try to let's go along with it and see if we can't have maybe some little small influence on what it might look like, but the best thing is to say let's go with it. But I really had no idea at that time that it was going to look like this. And Charlie, I'm telling you, I have come by in the mornings, I've come by in the afternoons, I've come by at night, and this is the hottest summer on record. And for somebody to get out there and start pressure washing those silos, it was just, I just couldn't wait. Umbrella up over his boom truck and he would get started, and I said, how's he gonna make it another day? But really, it was just, what you've done to these silos is something. I think it will be something about different than any way we ever have been in the past. So I sincerely want to thank you from the bottom of my heart and from Birdsong for what you've been able to do with the canvas that we provide. So with that, Miss Pat, we thank you for giving us the replica, and I'll turn the program back over to you.
Early last year, when we had gotten permission from Birdsong to paint the peanut silos, we knew we were getting funding from the USDA, and we knew that there were local people that were willing to come on board financially. The next thing we needed to do was find an artist. And so I sent out, it's a description of the project that you're planning. I sent it out to a list of artists that we felt would be able to do this project. And so from that list, I got response from 30 artists that were interested in doing the project. As the mural committee sat around the table and we looked at the artists that had submitted their portfolios, we had numerous meetings, and then we narrowed it down to 5 that we felt would really be capable of doing what we wanted to do. But as we perused those portfolios, we kept coming back to Charlie Johnston, because Charlie had done some work in Canada, very large images, and they were unbelievably realistic. And we knew, because of the size of our canvas, that we had to do something very large. And so narrowed it down Charlie Johnston. And as we talked with Charlie about what we wanted a mural with heart. We told him exactly what we wanted this farmer's face to say, and Jennifer told you that in such a beautiful way. It couldn't be just any farmer. His face had to portray the hope and the dreams and the work and the sweat and tears that had go into this crop. And then we talked about what we wanted our background to be as we drop down in size. We want to ride a country road through Georgia and see the different crops and the irrigation and the crop dusters and the grain beds. And then we came up with the idea, because we're having such a beautiful new First Baptist church built right across the way, that why don't we tuck the original First Baptist church up here into this little scope of pine trees, so that when people drive into the parking lot, they see the original First Baptist church, and then they see this huge, beautiful church that's being built now. So those are all the considerations, the thoughts that are part of designing a mural. It's not just something that you just sit down and say, okay, let's do it this way. You design it and redesign it and revisit it. But anyway, to go back, Charlie Johnston came to town, and we realized immediately that we had our man. I'm not sure if Charlie's going to feel that way when he leaves by the time he finishes. He may wish we hadn't found our man, because this has been such hard work for him. But Charlie told me when he got here, he said, well, you know, I rest when it rains.
What are you gonna do?
And I think the only rain we've had until yesterday was on Sunday, and he doesn't work on Sunday. So Charlie is going to be going home in a few days to, as I said, to reconnect with his family, but also to rest his arm. He's been bandaged from his palm to his shoulder just to try to reinforce that arm that's been overworked with that roller. But Charlie, you have interpreted everything we've said to you. You've listened so carefully. You've gone away, you've come back, and you've listened, and you have read not only the words we've spoken to you, but you've read our heart. And we just cannot thank you enough for the work you've done for us, and we are just so looking forward to the rest of it. And just thank you from the Arts Council, the Mural Committee, and this entire community.
Wow. I'm feeling a different kind of wow factor here, let me tell you. Wow. Where do I begin? First of all, Karen. His wife is behind him. You can't see her because she's standing right behind him telling him what to do with those peanuts. Okay? The shero, there's behind every great man, there's a great woman telling him what to do. You know, so just, it's kind of a polar bear in the snowstorm image. She's there. You just can't see her. Okay? Gerald, I'm going to have to borrow that off you in a little while, just for a little bit, okay? Yes. Well, when I came to Colquitt in March, and Miss Pat said, "You think you can do it?" And I went, "Sure. It ain't that bad." Well, that's my poker face. But I knew, when I looked at it, I knew I could do it. But I have to tell you, in all honesty, I know from a little bit from past experience, I've done a couple of things before, that when you enter into a project like this, you are entering into the world of change, because you will be a changed man. I knew this project would change me. I didn't know exactly how it would change me, I didn't know if it would make me crazy or hospitalize me or send me to the heavens. I just knew that it was going to change me, and I embraced change. And I have to say that I am a changed man before you today. The city of Colquitt has changed me, and I am now as much a part of the city of Colquitt as I am a part of the city of Winnipeg. As an artist, I have to in all respects thank every single one of you, every person, man, woman, and child living in Colquitt, for allowing me to be your voice, because I understand what kind of a responsibility and a joy it is to adopt that role, and I hope that I believe that I have said what you as has been said, what you want to say, what's in your heart, what's in your soul, what's in your spirit, what's in your mind. And I have received so many affirmations to that point. Each and every day I've worked on this mural. People love to talk to the artist. You know, they love to, are you the artist? You know, that's a favorite question. No, I'm just holding this for the artist. He'll be back in a minute. I just held it. He'll be back. But some of the comments that have come from the retired former employee of the Birdsong Peanut Company, with one arm. I'm not sure how he received his injury. Excited just to talk to me, and just simply asking if he could have one of my leftover paint pails. And I tell you, I've never been more happy to give somebody else. That sort of thing really gets to you, you know, because this is his life. So, sorry. I'm like an giving birth to a 26,700 square foot bouncing baby mural. I'm up, I'm down. If my husband, my wife were there, I'd probably be yelling at her, him, it, you know. So, but I'm very emotional right now, so bear with me. One day this African American lady pulled up, elderly lady pulled up in her car, and did you get a message from God? And that, I just stopped dead in my tracks right there. And I was dumb, I didn't even know what to say. And I actually felt that I wasn't qualified. So I said, I don't know, I think you're gonna have to ask God that. And then she proceeded to read my mural like a book. Everything, every subcon, because one of the things that happened, I'm not the only thing that changes. Something changes in the project, something changes in the art, and something changes in the community. It's about change. Everything changes. When you step into the wellspring of creativity, everything around you has the possibility of change. But she read it like a book. She saw the spirituality of this man, which I only started to think about as I worked on him. She saw that he was of the earth. It is as he's rising from the earth. He stands between the earth and the heavens. He's a guardian spirit looking over the community. And she expressed all of that. So I consider art, public art, to be a dialogue. It's never a monologue. It's never one man's point of view spoken in isolation. This is a conversation we're having. And it's an ongoing non-verbal conversation. And she understood every word that was being uttered with these brushstrokes. So I can only, I don't know what to say. I feel kind of like a big battery charger. I feel like I've been emptied and recharged 100 times in the process of doing this project. And I feel like I've been a conduit for this community, and it's been like these people with their affirmations, they've been supercharging me. So if you want to know how I got this thing painted, it was I've been getting charged up by all of you every single day. So what gets me out of bed is that charge. So thank you for charging me up, and thank you very, very much for allowing me to do this.
As many of you know, the mural project, as they started, what was depicted on those murals were from previous plays of Swamp Gravy. This is a little different, but it still rings true that Swamp Gravy speaks from these walls. There was a song written and I'm not going to sing to you, so my wife will be extremely happy to hear that, as well as the rest of you that don't know. But Karen wrote a song in 1992, and it was called The Work Song. And I'm just going to read you the words to it. It says, I go to work at the crack of dawn, and I work all day till the sun is gone. Y'all see him? Just trying to make a living from this old black dirt, and wondering if I'll get ahead or lose my shirt. But I keep planting them peanuts year after year, and I keep holding that corn, trying to make a few ears. And I keep picking that cotton to pay off my loan, and I will till the Lord calls me home. That gigantic man behind me speaks for a lot of people, and it is my hope and vision that he will speak to a lot more. Brother Carl.
Over the last few weeks, my wife and I have gone through several different stages of emotion, including the surgery of our son, 48 years old, who had open heart surgery. In the midst of that time with him, Sally has stayed behind in Tennessee and down in Atlanta, and I was going to pick her up. But in all of that, we realize how much we love Colquitt, how blessed we are to be here and to be a part of this community. I grew up in a rural area. My grandmother were full-blood Cherokee Indians who farmed 39 acres, hillside and rocks. I think at one time or another I probably kicked all of those rocks. We appreciate the farmer and the hard work. One of the things that I've said about Colquitt ever since I've been here, it's a very generous, giving, caring community. I don't know how I missed it. Maybe during the time when we were in Nashville or in Atlanta with our son and daughter. But just a few days ago, I was at the post office. Pat ran up and said something to me, and someone that it wasn't Pat. Karen Kimball ran up and said to me, oh, you know, we put a church in the first building. I said, no, I didn't know that. So I go back to the office and I tell the office staff, they said, well, we knew that. And I talk to somebody else and tell them, oh, we knew that. And then I talked to Gerald Garland and he said, I knew that. Everybody in town knew this but me. So I appreciate you keeping the secret. But our church, as a family, is so grateful for you recognizing the historical presence of First Baptist Church. Now, it could have been any church, but you chose to put ours there because of the proximity to the properties of the people. And we're grateful to you. And last Sunday morning, our church wanted to present to the Arts Council on behalf of First Baptist Church this certificate of appreciation. The certificate is presented to the Colquitt Miller Arts Council on behalf of First Baptist Church of Colquitt in appreciation for choosing our original 1901 church building as part of the scene on the agricultural mural monument. Thank you so much on behalf of the church. All right. Father, I'm grateful to you for this place, for the privilege that we have to serve you here. I thank you for the precious people, not only in the city, those out in the rural community, and all around the area. I thank you for every church where the gospel is preached. Lord, I pray your blessings be continued upon this community. Enjoy so many things that others do not have. I thank you for this mural and what it symbolizes, the hard work, dedication that it takes to create something of this magnitude and a reflection of its meaning to this community and all its people. Help us never to forget that you are supreme above everything. And may our service be rendered to you, and may we as a community be everlastingly grateful to you for your blessings. We ask it in Jesus' name. Amen.
All right, folks, I think they're having a little reception over at the Chamber building. See you there. Bye.